That's a really interesting question. I think the first thing we need to recognise, and I think everyone in this room realises this, is it's not just one wine market. We're not talking about a homogeneous wine market. We're talking about quite different wine markets. And for the majority of people out there who actually drink wine, wine is not a hobby, it's not an interest, and it probably never will be. And those people, I don't think, will ever really want to. They just want to drink nice wine at a good price. They don't want to, as I said before, they don't want to learn about wine, they don't want to be educated. They're horrified at the thought of actually, and those people I don't expect will ever see them, publish a note about their wine online. But what we're interested in the group of involved consumers, those people who are actually quite interested in wine, they enjoy their wine, the sorts of people who will buy wine from Rowan and then write a note on his site. And what the digital conversation does, as I said, it makes being an involved consumer a lot easier and a lot more fun and a lot more rewarding. Because suddenly you've got more like-minded people to discuss wine with, and you've got a lower barrier to entry to being an involved consumer. And I expect that what the digital conversation will do, and what I'm trying to do with my website, is this is the challenge as a communicator. You can either try and communicate a message that is so accessible that it reaches the maximum possible market, but then the danger is that those people are not actually interested in listening to your message because they don't want to learn or talk about wine. The other end of the spectrum is you're talking to people who are very interested, and you can talk at a much higher level. It's like wine books. There's a flurry of introduction to wine books because publishers think the market for that is much larger than the market for specialist titles. The problem here is that the market may be much larger for the introduction to wine books, but most of these people aren't really interested in reading about wine. So you may have a huge potential market, but they've got very no incentive to engage with what you're producing. Whereas if you're producing content that is really engaging but is quite specialist, suddenly the internet allows you to find those consumers. The consumers are interested, and they've got a strong motivation for consuming what you write. So with Wine Anorak, which is what I do for fun, this is my hobby still, I write about stuff. I try to write in a very engaging way, but I realise that a lot of the time I'm writing about wines that are quite niche in their interests, and I'm writing about at a reasonably high level. That's what I do for fun, and people seem to like it because the site traffic is huge. If I was to dumb it down and make it simpler, I'd run the risk of actually, while potentially increasing the readership, I'd run the risk of the fact people actually wouldn't be bothered to visit, because those sorts of people don't sort of visit wine sites. So what I'm saying in a very long-winded way is that I think the digital conversation is really important for people to bring people in to become one of these involved consumers. I don't necessarily think it's going to reach the majority of people who just enjoy wine and don't really want to learn about it. And we're not going to change that. But it's out of that big base pool of people who just drink and enjoy wine that people then migrate to become the involved consumers.